Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Dickinson, in your statement, you said, quote, achieving the desired effects in the space domain requires close coordination with other combatant commands, unquote. There's currently great synergy that exists between U.S. Spacecom, Northcom, NORAD, and the National Space Defense Center, all being located in close proximity there in Colorado Springs. On the personnel side, 8 of the 9 Space Force Deltas, formerly called Space Wings, are located in Colorado. The 9th is at Vandenberg. And 7 of those 8 are in Colorado Springs, including all of our Guardians who are focused on space warfighting. There are over 1,900 uniformed Space Force personnel in Colorado, with over 1,500 in Colorado Springs alone. And there are 32,000 total personnel who work or will work for Space Force in Colorado. Right now, all of these units and people benefit from working together in the same buildings with personnel from Spacecom, Space Force, and their intelligence community counterparts working side by side. How does it benefit our national security to rip out the headquarters element of Space Command from this concentration of national security, space, and intelligence community professionals and move it someplace 1,000 miles away?
Congressman, your first comment about the relationship with, in particular, like U.S. Northern Command and NORAD, we do enjoy a great relationship, but I will offer to you that I enjoy a great relationship with all the other combatant commands, and our ability to work closely with those combatant commands is fundamental to what we do each and every day. We've had great success over the last 20 months. With regard to our relationships with the other combatant commands. We have developed integrated planning elements, which are small groups of expert space planners and operators who are embedded in each of the combatant commands, and we're growing those in all of the 10 combatant commands at various levels right now. And so I tell you, those integrated planning elements have established a great relationship with each of the combatant commands in providing critical space warfighting expertise.
So something that's working well, and within the Space Command, they're side by side, thousands of people side by side. Why rip it in half and send some across the country?
So, Congressman, so in terms of military type of operations, we have seen in the past and in the present where we can actually do operations when we're not geographically located with each of those elements. So there is synergy I think you gain by being in the same area, but I think there's equally synergy in terms of being able to do that in not a remote manner, but in a physically distant manner. So in terms of military type of operations, I believe you can do it in 2 different locations that wouldn't necessarily be directly there in Colorado Springs, for example.
Well, if the military was told to put Space Command in a cornfield in Iowa, they could do it. We can do whatever we want, but why do it when it's working so well where it is right now? I'm going to change subjects because of limited time. Would you agree with me or let me back up. It may surprise people that survivable communication networks were not required for Spacecom by the Department of Air Force when they did their, what I question, a highly questionable evaluation process. So survivable communications has to be added if we started a new command up somewhere. Whereas right now there are multiple secure command centers at Peterson, Schriever, and Cheyenne Mountain, which provide continuity of operations for Space Command. In fact, past commanders of Air Force Space Command have said their preferred warfighting command center would either be the National Space Defense Center at Schriever or Cheyenne Mountain Air Force Station, the latter of which was built to survive a 30 megaton nuclear explosion. So today, what kind of continuity of operations facilities are there in Huntsville, Alabama?
Well, Congressman, I'm not aware of any in Huntsville, Alabama, but I do know that in terms of the National Space Defense Center and my command out in Vandenberg Air Force Base, that the secure communications that they have is satisfying the mission requirements now. And if we are directed to move, that type of infrastructure would be built and operable to meet my mission needs.
We haven't even talked about the cost. That's going to be over $1 billion, but we'll maybe have a chance to talk about that at some time in the future. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back the balance of my time.
Thank the gentleman. Mr. Lange.